players, the personalities who come from around the world to play professional soccer in the United States.
Go, go, USA! Oh, it's incredible!
In a world where some call it football, football, or soccer, they dare to call it foosball. One thinks New York is blue, the other thinks New York is red. Soccer in America from a German perspective. Let them put some sauerkraut on your hot dog and join them for the Schnitzel Boys USA Hour.
Oh, well, one of us thinks New York is blue. One of us thinks New York is red. Today we're in a position to not have to, this is not a question of belief. We have a result. The result is in from, and currently, as of right now, New York is blue. As the title of our episode is saying, you have your light is on the morning color of purple. Sadness.
It's a nice light. It's a nice light. Yeah, it's a red blue mix. Yeah, I guess the Empire State Building has to be lit up blue today, right? Do we have that kind of muscle? No, New York is blue as of right now. Factually, New York City is blue because New York City FC won 2-0 over the weekend at Citi Field in front of 30,000.
Oh, I love when you talk this way.
Supposed fans. Announced usually means that there aren't 30,000. MLS likes to MLS cooks its books when it comes to the attendance.
Sold tickets sold versus people. I mean,
I've heard worse. I've heard it's not even tickets sold. I heard it's tickets sold, including like tickets they promised tickets that they give out.
I did not obviously count everybody. I'm not great at estimating this kind of thing, but there were a lot of people.
Yeah. Tifo was a little pathetic because
it was
empty
really? I thought it was pretty classy.
The Tifo itself was really well done, I'm saying. But the whole MLS Reddit thread was just like, why is it empty? Because behind which you said, they put it up in a section where they don't sell, like people don't go there or whatever. So it's just there to show the Tifo. And it's a little weird to show a Tifo in an empty section. It just doesn't look good.
Well, I mean, this is just obviously this is the part where we do. I don't know if you are aware, this doesn't come up usually when our team is talked about, but we do not play in a soccer stadium. We play in 2 different baseball stadiums.
Best. No, I know.
And so
however, Bjorn, if I'm head of NYCFC marketing or whatever, or the fan, you're allowed to make decisions. You're allowed to make decisions that are better. You got to take that Tifo and put it in front of the fans on this fan side, aren't you?
Well, I mean, that's literally what they did. They put it. I mean, I literally stood behind the Tifo for the. Oh. No, I know what you're saying.
The whole section was empty though up top.
Yeah, well, in Yankee Stadium, this doesn't happen. In Yankee Stadium, the supporter section is the bleachers, and they just kind of, unroll the Tifo, and the people kind of hold it over there, and that's difficult to do. And in this case, there is an upper section that they can just kind of. Roll it, so it's logistically easier for them to do. That section, the first time we ever played in Citi Field was for a playoff game, and they made that section the supporter section, and a lot of people were up there, but nobody, I guess, really took into consideration the reality that you cannot see the final third basically underneath that section if you're up there. So those are not good seats.
The woes of being an NYCFC soccer fan.
People were very unhappy. People were very unhappy with those seats because you literally cannot see one of the goals.
Like a Broadway limited view seat.
Yeah, except it was the supporter section. It wasn't advertised that way. So that's why those seats don't get sold, and that's why that section is only used to unroll a Tifo off of. Anyway.
Well, anyway, but the Tifo was nice. It was drawn in that great animation style.
It was a Roy Lichtenstein. Roy Lichtenstein
who I like a lot.
Art piece.
And I went to the Roy Lichtenstein exhibit here he has some pieces up at the LA MoMA, the LA
Uh-huh.
Museum of Modern Art. So no, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Liechtenstein. I can't. There's not much for me to say. You know, Alonso Martinez scored a rocket of a goal,
Oh,
and
banger.
then at the top of the second half, we just gifted you your second one. Like, here, you take it. And that was very indicative of what's going on with the New York Rebels right now. Because Carlos Cornell fumbled it, you know, sloppy, and you guys got that second one, and then you guys got a 2-0 victory. We spent the entire second half essentially with the ball coming at you guys, trying to get a goal, and we got no shots on goal. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even. It was spent for. I'm like, we could play for another 90 minutes. We're not gonna. We ain't gonna score shit. Like, I don't know what's going on here. Cam Harper maybe missed a little bit of a good opportunity when he had a kind of an open goal at a difficult angle, and he could have crossed it in or maybe given himself an extra touch to shoot it in better.
Why was
Sure.
why was Cam Harper not starting? He's like I always think of him as one of your most dangerous players.
Yeah, he's for whatever reason like a
But
rotation
maybe
guy.
not.
He started over the weekend, and then we lost. So it's been 2 games, by the way. Last weekend, the New York Rebels won 7-0. Since then, we've lost both of our follow-ups. We lost at Nashville 2-1 or 3-2. Sorry, a lot of scores mixing up. Maybe 3-2. 2-1 or 3-2. We lost by a goal at Nashville, and then we just lost 2-0 haplessly against NYCFC at Citi Field. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think. I need to like watch, really deep dive, try to figure out what's going on. I think like we're not really high pressing anymore. I guess he's stopped that.
Yeah, the intensity is lower for sure.
And whenever that, and we've done that before. I've been here before. The New York Rebels has tried to change their identity before, and it's usually a disaster. It's kind of what happened with Struber a little bit, because it's like the way we play. And last year we played so well under Schwartz. We really had it going. Like, we played really well under Schwartz last year. And when we play under Jesse Marsh, also at our best, pretty much we're highfalutin, high pressing. We're up top, forcing turnovers. But I think that switch has been turned off. We're playing very slowly and lackadaisically out of the back now, but that's not working because our defenders are just so lackadaisical. And then we're not playing with any intensity. We're playing much slower soccer. And then I can see there's quick transitions up top. I can tell you, like, we got 5 guys flooding the box. And I believe we're trying to, like, almost Hail Mary all our goals a little bit. And the problem is we're not fast enough because the defenders always get themselves in place. We're always outnumbered in our offensive third. And it's not, as we witnessed last weekend, it's not causing a lot of goal opportunities. We're not having any goal scoring opportunities. It's just a lot of us running up slow, and then you guys are all placed defensively, and we're not doing much about it. So, yeah, anyway, it's just sad. The New York Rebels right now, I'm hoping, are in some sort of transitionary phase. I'm hoping there's some sort of payoff at the end of this, or it's failing, they're experimental, and they'll go back to their old ways pretty soon. The New York Rebels play high press because they play a system of football that was developed for a team that doesn't spend on its roster. And the New York Rebels doesn't spend on their roster. So if they drop that tactic and just play open soccer, they're going to start getting outclassed by most of these other teams because they just have more quality on their roster. So anyway, so it's just, I don't know, the lackadaisicalness is continuing with my.
I mean, that was my impression too. The intensity wasn't there, and it's almost like a little bit the roles have reversed. You guys are now a possession team. You're trying to build from the back, and we're very direct. We like sort of are happy to kind of hoof it long over the top and hope that Alonso Martinez can be the one-man wrecking crew that he is, and he is. He hit the crossbar in stoppage time. He had another banger. But yeah, our sort of sophisticated possession game is not super in effect these days, and we're more like now the team that kind of tries to pounce on the opponent's mistakes. So it's a little weird, and it wasn't. I mean, I think we deserve a little credit. We are, despite all my misgivings about our center backs, we are turning it into a pretty decent defensive team. Like, we are defending from the front, and they are. So I think we can give ourselves a little bit of credit for this shutout. We have not given up. We have not given up. We haven't given up a ton of goals. But we also were not super dangerous. This was not exactly like a high fireworks kind of game. Like,
No, because
it
the
was a
entire
pretty, yeah.
so full disclosure, I thought the kickoff was different. And I realized it kicked off earlier than I realized because I always on the West Coast, it's easy to mix up West Coast time with East Coast time when you see stuff sometimes.
Yeah, this was
So I had to
this was an odd time. I mean, I was at the game and I didn't figure out that that's what it was until like 2 days earlier.
but I got to use the Apple TV catch-up function, which is a cool function that essentially
Oh.
shows the highlights up to present. I think it's a cool function. And pretty much the highlight was like the goal, maybe one other thing, and then straight to the second half. So I watched the second half, and you tell me the entire second half was just the Red Bulls going at
Yeah,
it. Like you
I
guys
mean,
weren't coming at us.
we were a little bit better offensively in the first half. We had a couple other chances, although our wingers just are not
Wing.
dangerous and convert. They don't wing.
Wingers ain't winging.
Well, I mean, Hannes Wolf has just lost his scoring touch. He used to score for Leipzig, for Gladbach, but currently he's and Julian Fernandez, he just does not off the ball. He is just totally clueless. He doesn't know what to do. But yeah, so we were not very dangerous in the second half, and you all had a lot of the ball, but without really there was nothing really to worry about. So it was.
Yeah, we had nothing. We were just futzing around.
It was a
It
pretty. I mean, I have some. Emil Forsberg is not getting any younger. He looked a little bit disinterested, and Choupo-Moting is not engaged. He's playing like he's in a rec league.
Yeah,
He was like he's trying to out dribble everybody. He's like Thierry Henry intensity without the Thierry Henry quality.
skill
So,
set. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't look at Chupo as someone who's not trying.
He's not
I
making.
think
Well, I don't know. Just looking at him live and
Yeah.
being sort of. I mean, he's not making the runs he needs to make, and
Yeah. And Emil Forsberg had himself a bet. He was taken off early. It's important. Like it's our big match, and he was taken off the 75th minute for Julian Hall. So it's like that's not great. But Emil Forsberg usually is in it to win it. So, but again, this might be indicative of something that's going on.
And
there's something going on in the New York Red Bulls right now.
And they're 69 years old between them. It's
Right,
not
69.
nice.
But Chupo's scoring still. Like he is our goal scorer. He is the one scoring. He scored a brace against the Galaxy last weekend and stuff.
Okay.
So he is there. But yeah, there is I think the big note is our intensity is gone. I don't know if
but I think that's
by design
that's
or
the bigger problem. Yeah, I don't know. That's
Right.
the bigger problem. Like because it starts from the front. You can see this with like Alonso Martinez is getting better pressing. Maxi Morales, despite his advanced age, is always down, and that just then trickles back in a way that it doesn't for the Red Bulls right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to say that
Can
we're so much
I offer correction, by the way?
Yeah.
You said I had to look this up. You said Hannes Wolf used to score for Leipzig. I was like, Hannes Wolf used to score for Leipzig? Hannes Wolf scored a grand total of 1 goal for Leipzig.
Oh, is that
5
true?
appearances.
Well,
Yeah. However, but he used to score for Salzburg. He has 16 goals for he has 7 goals for Lieferling. Look at he should be our player. He's a Red Bull. He has 7 goals for Lieferling, which is the Salzburg feeder team. So for 16 goals for Salzburg and then 1 goal and 5 appearances for Leipzig.
I'm not basing that. I'm not. I don't have his like Bundesliga stats at the tip of my finger.
When you said score for Leipzig,
there's a highlight reel. Yeah. There's a YouTube highlight reel of Hannes Wolf.
Where he scores the 1 goal.
Really scoring. No, but not just. I guess I was confusing the shirt. It's an RB Salzburg.
Those are the Austria League goals.
But I mean, he's scoring. He's like a finisher. He's got a good touch. He's calm in front of goal. He has that quality which he currently doesn't. So that's. I mean, obviously, like YouTube highlight reels are you always got to take them with a grain of salt because it's somebody's entire career in like 3 minutes. But I could probably if
if we have the right actors, I could design myself a decent.
If you made a highlight reel of all the 5 best goals that I've scored on my team, that would probably be decent. I would look like I could play. But anyway,
I'd go one step further. I'd choreograph it and hire actors to like
Maybe
keep
that's
the
what
memes
happened.
running through. Be like, oh, be like, check out my YouTube reel. It's like it's decent, except you're
Um,
in a button down the whole time. I don't know. I don't know if these are real teams. So anyway,
anyway,
so
but yeah,
how
it's
did
always it's nice to win. The atmosphere was great. There were a lot of people. People were into it. It was
I'll
louder
also
than it's
say this:
been.
it looked really good on it looked pretty good on camera because that stuff's hit or miss. But I think they figured it out. I don't know if it was a little zoomed out, but I kind of prefer it zoomed out.
City
And it was a
Field is.
big, wide look over the field. I'm like, this is actually looking pretty epic. I like it because
I
usually, like a
mean,
Yankee Stadium doesn't look epic at all. It looks
City Field is the better stadium in a lot of ways. I feel like there's better food. It's kind of the people are way nicer. The staff. Um,
well, like
Yankee
Daniel Young.
Stadium. Yankee Stadium. I like my seats. So, but we've also been better at City Field lately. I mean, we're like 4-0, I think, this season in City Field. We've played 4 games and we won them all. And so,
It
yeah,
also
I
makes
don't
sense
mind. I don't mind City
if
Field.
I were the NYC FC brass. It would make sense to just play all our games there, because isn't it exactly the
Well,
same subway stop as your new stadium? It's like right there, right?
yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
no?
No, I think
So to
that's
get the
part
fans
of
used to
the
commuting there
right.
regularly.
Well, but I think
You have to rent.
the baseball stadium, the baseball scheduling has become so complicated that they just have to take whatever they can get. It's so difficult. But only
Yeah.
one more year after this. We're almost there. You can see now, you can peer over the fence on your way in. There's like concrete foundation. Things are happening. It's going.
Nice. 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 Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yeah, so you know what's crazy about the New York teams is like we're like mirrors of each other. We said this before, but like before this game kicked off, we were tied like 7th and
Yeah.
8th, weren't we? Or 8th
I
and
mean,
9th or something.
as I sat down, I said to my friend, I was like, you could tell me any result for this game and I would
Yeah,
believe it. Like I had no idea
totally.
how this was going to go. And I would have I could have seen a scenario where we win this comfortably. I could have also seen a world in which we lose this pretty handily or everything in between. And so,
Another
yeah,
7
I didn't
nothing
know.
for us.
I mean,
But right now we are 7th and 11th, 3 points away. We were 8th and 9th, and then this game pushed you up 1 and us down 1. We're now 7th and 10th. Sorry, 7th and 10th.
I will say about us, we haven't been consistently good, but we also have not been consistently bad,
Ah,
considering our slightly underpowered squad. There hasn't been, and this definitely there were some times in the last couple seasons where there were these prolonged spells of like, pretty dreadful game after another, and that has not been the case. There's been some real duds, but it's generally been followed by pretty solid performances. So I think definitely I'm very much down with Coach Pascal Jansen, who has found solutions for these holes in the squad that are hopefully going to get filled at some point. Aidan O'Neill, the Australian, is started again. He's looking okay. Sorry to stereotype, but I was hoping for a little more ruggedness, perhaps, when you hear
I was
Australian.
hoping for him to a little more kangaroo-ness, a little more hoppiness
A
around the
a
field,
little bit more muscle, I guess. A little bit more.
like a rugby player. You
I
gotta get a rugby
mean,
player.
I guess yeah. I feel bad like having that stereotype. He does not seem that way at all. He's sort of soft-spoken, and so
Hey, Aiden, they're dingoes at your baby. Go get up.
yeah, I
Come
mean,
on,
yeah,
walla
I'm
walla.
sorry. I feel bad. I should not even make these kinds of but I was just, because he's supposedly taking Jimmy Sands' spot. So I was hoping for a bruiser. I thought he's gonna break some ankles, but that doesn't seem to be the case. But he has quality on the ball. He's a very versatile two-way midfielder. So, and he
Would
just
you
got off the
describe
plane, so hopefully he'll be all right.
Yeah, so is jet lag. Would you describe James Sands as a bruiser?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't? You wouldn't?
I mean, really just asking. I wouldn't say he wasn't. And yeah, I know. Yeah, I just assume like more of a two-way midfielder is how he's it. But yeah, I guess that's part of one of the ways is to be a bruiser forcer. Other thing. Well, as you mentioned about great performances, someone finally had themselves a pretty great performance, one to
Oh,
talk about,
yeah.
and MLS was ready to share it. It's on all the social medias and the this and the that's. We had well, first and foremost, we should talk about we have the Sunday night block
Yeah, which was
last
pretty
Sunday.
entertaining. I watched a lot because
Hugely entertaining.
our game was early. And so I watched the MLS 360 on Saturday night. There was a lot of good stuff. It was very entertaining. Rivalry week, the Cincinnati Columbus game was fun. There was a lot of good stuff. I enjoyed it. And then the Sunday night, both of those games in very different ways were very interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
I am sort of enjoying, like, Inter Miami last year I thought were very watchable because it was just
Right.
interesting to how that team got together. And like then this year, the train wreck that they are becoming I'm also enjoying it. I also
Me
enjoy
too.
now them crumbling. I mean, I guess I feel like I called this coaching hire was not going to work out.
Yeah, I called it because it's Tata Martino. Last year was Tata Martino. He's a good old veteran coach. He
He's
knows
a
them. He's got an MLS
Yeah.
title under his belt. He was the perfect coach. And God knows what happened. He left. I don't know if they pushed him out or if he chose to leave. Maybe it was his wife. I don't know. I hope to God, I'd like to think he stepped down. However, maybe he stepped down because he didn't want to handle the circus. Like he didn't have the control he wanted. That could
Mhm.
very well be true. And their buddy Javier Mascherano took over, and that's always disaster because MLS is a beast like no other. And we're hearing reports, and then MLS is going to MLS. So MLS always has this thing where certain teams have favoritism, which they do. Like LA Galaxy, LAFC have been that for a while. These days, Inter Miami, because Inter Miami is their cash cow, and Inter Miami is treating them like the boss.
And yet,
And people love people, and they're just an easy target. Every tifo is about them being pinky, phony, plastic. They're seemingly the roster rules are a little looser than everybody else. Everybody else's, if you want to
Messi,
get deeper into it.
I felt like Messi always got a little extra protection from the refs,
From
although
the refs,
he's extremely unhappy with the referees. He can't.
if the MLS presses to believe, Bruce Arena saved him from a red card midweek when Inter
Oh, when
Miami
he
played
pulled him
San Jose.
away. Oh, interesting. Yeah,
But I didn't see any. I didn't see any of that. I think that's just a narrative they wrote.
I read that.
Pretty much, there's a video on MLS called Two Legends. It's just Bruce and Messi not even looking at each other, just being like, and then walking off. And it's just like they didn't talk to each other. I don't know.
Yeah, they're
I
not
think it was
really
like
in
two
the
legends
same.
respecting each other. I'm like, I don't think Messi knows who Bruce is. I don't
It's a
think
pretty.
Bruce cares really about Messi.
They're in pretty different universes.
Yeah.
If they are legends, they're not legends of the same world necessarily. But
And Messi's doing the thing that Beckham did. We just complained the ref, and the refs, yeah, refs ain't perfect. But also Messi, you get like he should have gotten a red in a lot of instances. He gets protected a little bit.
yeah, they are. I
And
mean, he grabbed Mandy Bellucci's neck, man, after the game. That's
I
no
know
good.
you're supposed to
I
be
mean,
suspended
I
for
thought
3 games. For that.
I actually thought in this particular case he had a pretty legitimate beef because that did look like a back pass to me. And
I didn't 100%.
on the
Yeah, I didn't
first
100%.
on the first goal, it was kind of like yeah, it was a little bit borderline, I guess. There's always a little bit of interpretation if somebody's just kind of clearing the ball and it ends up with the
Sorry.
what's happening?
Sorry.
Make some music.
I have MLS. Actually, I have the what's it called? Back pass controversy, the instant replay.
Oh, you're gonna take a look. Yeah, I mean, I think
I have a feeling that these MLS instant replay are going to be like, it wasn't a back pass.
I think I can understand being upset for sure. I think this was certainly if he had called if the referee had called it, they could not have complained about it, Orlando. So, but then of course on the other hand,
yeah, hold on, I'm looking at it right now. It's a soft roll back. The goalkeeper picks it up with his hands as jauntily walks up front and kicks it up top for them to score the goal. That's weird. Yeah, that's not how that works, right?
yeah, I mean the referee then said it wasn't a back pass. It was just kind of because they were both going for the ball and he kind of cleared it into that space. And I think you can make that case as well. I don't think it's super clear cut, but I definitely understand the upset. Although on the other hand, if you just stop defending and you just let the goalie like donk it over your entire backline's head, that's on you. That's not on the ref.
True. You gotta
And
play the whistle. And also in the ref's defense, so it rolls back. Pedro Gallesi, El Pulpo, the octopus. He
who was very good. He did not have a good
yeah.
season last year, although in general he's the Peruvian national team
Yeah.
keeper. He was very
Good
good
keeper.
yesterday.
He took it with his legs a couple. He did do a couple touches with his legs first. And I think you are allowed to do that, right? And then he passed it to
Yeah,
himself.
and I guess I don't know if he like looked at the ref to ascertain that this was not going to be he wasn't going to be penalized or what happened there. But yeah, it's a little borderline. So in this case, I was just going to say this because usually I have very little time for the messy anti-ref histrionics that have become kind of a habit. But in this case, I did think he had a legitimate beef on that particular play.
Let's do an experiment here. I'm going to play. Okay, let me know if you can hear this. I'm going to put it really loud here.
Time to dive into match day 14.
Yep, I can hear.
All right, let's get things started on this rivalry week with the GOAT, with Inter Miami and Orlando City.
This is Andrew Weeby and instant replay.
Controversy.
It is.
Starting in the 43rd minute. Luis Muriel is in behind. He's scoring.
Just because they circle, let's see what he says.
Messi are very, very frustrated. They're pointing, they're gesturing, they're saying, hold on. The lead up to this is a deliberate back pass to Pedro Gallese. And as we watch the play back, we do see that Jose Angulo makes a pass
Highlight a guy.
Eventually gets to the hands of Pedro Gallese, the goalkeeper for Orlando City. But the call on the field is no infraction from Guido Gonzalez Jr., and it's not recommended for review by the VAR, Jose Carlos Rivero. I thought Danny Higginbotham, the color on this game, got it exactly right. To me, this isn't deliberate, and that's the key word. You must deliberately pass the ball to your goalkeeper for this to be considered.
Surprise, surprise! They sided with the ref and the.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, it bounces off.
Who is he passing it to then?
He's passing it to the goalkeeper. Yeah, I mean, it's not a clear-cut pass, I guess.
Yeah,
but
I think
he's leading it to him.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think this is it's 100% one way or another, but I certainly I get why he's upset.
Yeah, but also he's upset because the reality with that is,
I mean, they lost 3-0. It's not like this turned the game
and they're on a little bit of a losing streak right now. And if
they don't
are to be believed, there's a lot of rumor. Like there was a report where last week after the game, I forgot which game it was. It was the New York Red Bulls game after they beat us handily. This would have been 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He stormed off the field upset at his players at the end of the game or something. There's rumors that he's yelling at his players right now because his frustrations are coming ahead. And then I also read about Luis Suarez getting into it too with some players kind of behind the scenes. So the prima donna circus, I think, is real, or at least slightly real. And it's getting to them. And this is the team that was handpicked to compete in our FIFA Club World Cup next summer. In 2 weeks. This summer in 2 weeks.
This is next summer in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. And I don't know. They tied San Jose. Sorry. Yeah, I was just So and then this was the big Florida thing. All the Orlando fans going to Miami, and boy, did they spanked them 3-0. It was quite the.
I mean, I think also a lot of the rest of the league has now kind of figured them out a little bit. I think Julian Gressel famously said the thing last week, or when he was, because he left Miami to go to Minnesota United, and they were saying after that game how he told them they're going to be great for 30 minutes, but then after that they're going to start walking, and that is exactly what happened, I guess. Minnesota scored in the 32nd minute, and I think this is now the game plan. You kind of got to survive the first wave, and then you just kind of dink it over the top to some fast person, and then it's wide open because they do not have much of a midfield. They don't, and their defenders, they play this 3-man back line, and they're just kind of out in space, one-on-one.
And all their key players are also over 35.
Their kind of replacement goalie was pretty good for a while, but has also, I guess, made some blunders, and definitely he got nutmegged on the second goal, so that didn't.
It's also 39 or 40 or something.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the old 35-year-old boys club here.
And at some point everybody's done, you can
hit him with pace. Hit him with pace.
Yeah, I mean, and Messi obviously is still capable, but Suarez looks pretty washed. Uh, and
I've also noticed.
Sergio Busquets cannot run the midfield on his own. He needs a little bit
No,
more muscle, and
for
so
sure.
yeah, it's not going well.
Also, Jordi Alba plays as a high winger now. You notice that?
Yeah, because they play the three back line.
back
Yeah,
line,
because
so
they
he's like
they don't really have a fullback per se. So so he plays higher up, which that's potentially a positive, but
Will Julian Glassel's secret make its way to the hands of all the FIFA Club World Cup teams like Al Ali, Porto, and Palmeiras coming up in a couple weeks?
I mean, this could
will
potentially
see.
be pretty embarrassing for them.
Yeah, there could be a third MLS team in this summer's FIFA Club World Cup.
Oh, we've got that shootout, right? Who is it? Top America and
LAFC.
LAFC, right.
LAFC could potentially, if they beat the play-in game against Club America. I'm on the LAFC ticket boards, and Club America fans are demanding tickets. They're going for like hundreds of dollars because it's a bunch of fans and playing that
because
little
it's at
stadium
the
there.
LAFC Bank of America.
At
Yeah,
the Bank of America. And LA, I don't know if you know this, but LA has no shortage of Club America fans,
I
and
bet.
Monterrey fans, and Chivas
bet.
fans, and whatever you want. They're here in LA, baby. The LAFC could be there because we got the Seattle Sounders in Miami going in there. Maybe LAFC will. LAFC have themselves also quite the game. So we have the New York rivalry week. We have the Florida rivalry week. People are saying Florida is purple, to borrow from our thing, as opposed to pink. Florida's pink versus purple.
I don't really like either of those teams, but I guess it's yeah.
It's like the Colombians versus the Argentinians. I know it doesn't boil down that way, but it's like, Oscar Pareja and his boys versus Javier Mascherano and his boys. So there is there's Florida, it's Colombia versus Argentina. There's some deep ties there. It's kind of a fun thing to watch as a neutral.
Yeah.
And then the other big matchup, the other great performance that I'm actually really excited by, when Marco Reus joined a year ago now, he came last summer. The last 12 months for him have been very pedestrian, would you say? Like, he wasn't really he was a very small part of the winning team. And then he had an injury. And then the big story this year with the LA Galaxy is they have fallen like no team in the history of MLS has fallen before. Like, no defending champion has been the absolute last place after being stripped of a couple of players. But Marco Reus is the highest paid player.
They were saying in this game that this is like the worst start of an MLS team period.
Right. Which is insane, especially notwithstanding a defending champion.
Yeah.
But Marco Reus is the highest paid player, one of the highest paid players in the league, probably. He's up there on the worst team. So he's got to wake up a little bit. He's got to start playing. And this weekend was the first time you saw Marco Reus actually put in a performance, because he scored both of their goals early in the game, a finisher, and then late in the game, a really, really great, really creatively taken. Just masterfully taken free kick.
Free kick was magic.
Yeah.
The first goal he didn't know much about. That just
he was just
sort of.
But he was there to finish it.
Yeah,
at a kind of a difficult angle. You
I
need quality to do
the
that.
defender cleared it and it just bounced off of him. I think that was just happenstance. But the free kick was beautiful, and he was fully engaged the rest of the time. He has a weird his set pieces are not good. There was a lot of set pieces that he kind of squandered, but he does have some quality. He had some good passes. He set up I forgot who it was, but he set up his teammate at the very end with a very nice cutback. Put him. Gabriel Peck was in a position.
And it was just offside, right? Yeah.
No, he just shanked it over the goal. He had a pretty open look. So the Galaxy.
He did assist Gabriel Peck in the middle of the game, right? And Gabriel Peck finished it, and they were cheering
and then it was
that ended up being slightly offside as well.
True. That's true.
So Marco Reus had himself a game, and it's Marco Reus in the last few years at Dortmund was coming off the bench. He was pretty passive. He has injuries, and in LA Galaxy, I think he was doing the passive thing, but it's no, man, you're the team leader now. I mean, with Ricky Puig injured and you guys last place, Marco Reus, you need to step it up. And I think we saw that over the weekend. I'm hoping that's a sign of things to come. I don't know about you. And it makes me realize I need to go out and start checking out some LA Galaxy games.
I mean,
and see my boy Royce.
they extended Greg Vanny's contract last week, which is an interesting thing to do when you're in last place. But
That's not the first time they've done that with Greg
yeah,
Vanny. I
I
think
don't know.
the last time he extended, or maybe it was Chris Klein's contract. They did the year of the reckoning. They started out boycotting games and stuff. So it's not uncommon for them to keep extending contracts while in last place. But in his defense, he's a defending MLS Cup champion coach. So I know the last place
but
now, but
right. Well, I mean, I guess they like him. So LAFC looked a little disjointed. A lot of their, like, I don't know what's going on in their midfield. They don't seem all together, but and apparently they can't hold a lead. Taylor Twellman was saying how they just kind of turn off when they have a lead. And I guess there were some defensive substitutions made and it didn't work out in the end.
no.
There was a tie, but that was also a fun game. There was a lot of not to sound like an MLS booster, but like this was a fun weekend. I saw a lot of good stuff.
We are MLS boosters. Supporting MLS.
We're also critical at times. Like
because
we're not the state-run media.
No, we're the independent media. You're here for it first. We don't have the corporate backing of the state-run media, but you heard it here. We're always ready to give our honest opinions. We have no sponsors. We have no influence. Nothing. No one's influencing us, shall I say?
We have no one.
Our influence is quite limited.
We have no one to pander to.
We have no one to pander to, so it's always going to be honest and on the point.
Exactly.
I believe I have no respect for a fan like I went on a date with this girl a couple of years ago, Bjorn, and on her profile it said soccer fan. I was like, sweet. And she was a fan of Real Madrid, a place she's never been to. And she said, "Oh, I can't watch MLS. Just so bad. Just pass around."
It's Real to her.
Hey-o. It's Real to her. But to me, whenever I see that, to me that's immediately being like, "Oh, my favorite food is the $300 tomahawk steak. I'm a big fan of $300 tomahawk steak." So it's like, "Oh, really?" So is everybody else, moron. A real foodie is the fan of the good budgeted chuck steak. You get the right place. You can put a little pineapple on and make it the perfect cereal. That's the sign of a real connoisseur. So to be an MLS fan means you are an actual connoisseur and you're an actual fan of the sport itself. It's not rocket science. Sure, I can go support Brazil. Like I think someone asked Spike Lee whose favorite team was. Like, I like Brazil. It's like, oh yeah, you do. And this was like 15 years ago. It's like, oh yeah, you like the greatest team of all time. Like, we all like the greatest team of all time, but you also have to like your own.
I don't like Brazil. I didn't like Brazil when they were good. I don't like them now.
Yeah, but you can appreciate them being good,
I suppose.
Do you understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
No, I totally.
It's like,
totally.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of wine. I only drink 500-year-old French. I don't know anything about wine, but like it's just like everybody likes the 500-year-old bottle of wine from the Franciscan monks. It's how much do you like that $9 bottle of wine you get at the grocery store? How much do you like that?
Right. But I wouldn't even. I mean, I think the food analogy only goes so far because you can like, yeah, I mean, the better steak is definitely. But like the thing about sports is like investment is everything. You just decide to care, and then it matters to you. You know what I mean? It's not exactly like if your 4-year-old kid is playing, you're gonna be invested, even though the soccer is gonna be horrendous. Like it doesn't matter. It's like when you care. When you care, you care. And I don't. Yeah, I also. I don't. I mean, I do enjoy. I enjoy it all. I like watching Champions League, and I definitely. Those games are at a different level than MLS is. But if you got to support your local team. You invest yourself. And you really see it in a very detailed way. Like, the way I look at my team, I know all the players very well. I know their tendencies. You see you just understand kind of the way a team works, like in a different way. I think when it's not,
and it's more fun.
When they're not like the best players in the world, like you understand the gears of the game are just kind of are laid bare a little more, obviously, and that is interesting.
Yeah,
And I
it's
think
the
you
challenge.
see, sorry, just this one more thing.
Go.
And I think you see in the MLS, you can see when a team is more than the sum of its parts versus not, you know? You
Right.
can see when there really is some magic in the togetherness of a group. And that can also change from week to week, you know, like Montreal last week, they hadn't won a game, but they looked good when there was something going on there for them in that particular game. And so, yeah, there is something just having a closer look at the sport, not at the highest level, it does give you more insight. I feel.
Yeah, it's the greater, like Real Madrid is great and all, but they have a blank check. They're just it's not hard to predict who they're about to
Yeah,
sign and how they're about to play.
and those
It's more interesting to like look at Wrexham. Wrexham's a good example. People are invested because they get to know the guys, they get to figure it out. Wrexham by definition is playing really low level soccer, but they have a global following now because you're invested.
right.
Now,
I mean,
granted, MLS, you're 100% right. I'm all with you. Like, it's much more challenging and much more interesting to follow a team with limits and challenges because the sport is shining through. However, we're not, MLS itself is not immune to criticism because they do pre-design those limits, where other leagues maybe don't design those limits. Like in the Brazilian league,
right.
it's
Well,
fun to watch a poor club do its best versus a rich club because that's the David versus Goliath of it all. Everything has an interesting angle to it.
yeah, but I mean, MLS could spend a bunch more money and it would still not be Champions League level. I mean, there's some,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
right. That would
Yeah.
still apply. But yeah, that's a good. I mean, yeah, you bring up Wrexham. I finally, for whatever reason, started watching that show. I was so like, oh, I have no interest. This is going to be cringe. It's a lot better than I thought. I'm only like
Yeah.
I'm obviously 2 seasons behind, and
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm liking it way more than I thought I would.
Me too. I also only caught the first few seasons or first few episodes. I love that British TV writer. It's like, God, that would have Matt. I would love to have written for a TV show and have my boss TV show be like, "Hey, Stefan, do you want to go run a soccer team in England now?" I'd be like, "Yes, hell yeah, why not?" Damn. But anyway, so that's just our, if you're listening to this, you're an MLS fan, brava, because you're a real fan, my friend. You're a real fan. Even if you aren't a Miami fan,
But
even
this
if you
works.
aren't a
Yeah.
Miami fan,
But I mean,
if you're invested in the league, we'll take
this
you.
works all over the world. You know, I was a Bochum fan, not because I picked them out, because I lived next to the stadium, and I was like, oh
Right.
yeah, I'll go. And then, yeah, of course, you get attached, and I mean, this works worldwide. Like, support
You
your
get into
local
a
team.
player. No, my thing, like when you go to Estadio Azteca and it's like 80,000 or whatever it is, not 70,000 screaming fans rooting for Club America versus Chivas, not a one of them is like, oh, unfortunately, this isn't Real Madrid Barcelona. So
I wish this was higher.
not a one of them. To them, it's the best thing they're
Right.
watching right now. That's it. That's all. That's the all end all be all. They're watching Alejandro Zendejas.
Yeah.
And they're living and dying by Alejandro Zendejas, a player who can't even crack the starting lineup of the U.S. national team.
And I mean, I understand here in the U.S., every sport is played at a very high level. There's a lot of options, baseball, basketball, football. These are all, but it's a different thing. It's a different flavor, but it's also just a different game. I don't know. Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah, for the hundreds and thousands of listeners who don't follow MLS but follow our podcast, give it a shot. Give it a shot, you guys. That's all we can say. All right, I think that's it for the Shitzel Boys.
Very good. On that
Our
note,
MLS teams,
support your local team.
Support your local club. Come on, buy local, buy American.
Both of our teams are bubble playoff teams. We have one.
When are they not?
We have someone who scores bangers.
When was the last time our teams weren't bubble playoff teams? It's just been
we won the whole thing in 2021.
Yeah, but then you guys missed the playoffs last year, right? Oh no, we beat you in the playoffs last year.
Last year we were a game away. Was that the semi? Was that the final, or did you play somebody else after us?
We made a run to the finals last year. We lost.
Yeah, I know, but like, did you beat somebody after us? Was that the semifinal or the final? That was the Eastern Conference final.
I think it was the Eastern Conference semifinal, right?
Right, that's what I thought. Yeah,
I'm reminded. But anywho, Yeah.
Yeah.
We're bubble teams, but in spirit. But all MLS teams are bubble teams. That's the point of MLS. Parody, baby.
All right.
All right. Tschüss. Bis
Tschüss.
nächste Woche.
Macht's gut.